We're going to be making a Valentine gnome wrap mug today, and we're going to have a lot of fun working with this one. There's a few supplies that we're going to need with this wrap. And of course, you're going to need your infusible ink transfer tape or sheets, a mug press, a weeding tool, and of course our asset number 401 from the resource library. And that will give you the design that we are going to use today. So let's go over into Design Space, and what we're going to do in Design Space. Let me just grab this 1 second, please. Design Space is having its issues coming up right now. There we go. All right, inside of Design Space, I mentioned that I had a file for you, so I'm just going to click on Upload. This will be asset number 401 in the resource library. And if you're a club member, it's hub.creativecraftersclub.com. If you're not, you might want to join for free to get some of these files. And it is free.creativecraftersclub.com. Now, this is the file that we're going to use. This is Asset 401. It's called Valentine Gnome and Mug Wrap. I'm just going to bring it into Design Space. I'm going to add that to the canvas. First thing I want to do is change this black color to a nice pink color so it is easier to work with. Let's just bring this down here. One other thing that I might mention is that we're going to take these apart, because if I click, they're all one. I could attach them just like this. I prefer to keep them separate, so I'm going to ungroup this. I'm going to grab this, and I am going to attach it. Now, you might wonder what these little lines are in the back. Well, that is the backing, so I can wrap it around the mug. And it just gives me a guide so I can get everything straight. So I'm going to grab this top one as well, and I'm going to attach it. So I have two things that I am going to cut from this. Okay, so let's come over here. I've got it. Go ahead and save yours. I have mine saved already. I'm going to click on Make It. It's going to come onto the mat, and on my mat I'm going to be placing my transfer sheet. Because this is going around a mug and this part is going to be to the mug, if I don't turn my mirror on at this point, it's going to be backwards. So let's remember to turn on our mirror. There we go, and that's exactly how it's going to cut on my transfer sheets. And then we'll just click Continue here. And I will select my maker. And we're going to pick infusible ink transfer sheet. Now, if you don't have this up, this is marked as one of my favorites. Browse all materials, and all you have to do is type in infusible. Hit the Enter key, and it comes with infusible ink transfer sheets. And here's where you can select your favorites. You are allowed 10 favorites on there. And I can just click on this, whether it's on my favorites or not. A check mark comes here. That means that's the type of material that I am going to use for my cut. Now the background will cut right through, and the design will be a kiss cut. So no worries here. Let's go ahead and cut this out, and then we're going to put this whole thing together. Now, here we are. I have a couple of mugs that I have picked. I have my design, which is on my mat right now, and I have my mug press over here. And I know it's a little harder to see, but here is my mug press. I'm all ready. I've got it heated up and ready to go. I'm just going to peel this off of my mat. Get it as straight as possible. There we go. And I can put my mat aside. Now I have two sets here. And of course, I want to be able to take off some of the stuff I'm not going to use. So obviously, I don't want to have these extra pieces on the end. There we go. And of course, I don't want this extra piece all the way around. Now I see mine didn't cut through that well. but that's okay. We'll work on how to make that happen. I'm going to keep my fingers in there and just pull on it. There we go, I got it. There's the first one. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the second one. I'm going to have to pull it off separately. Pull this one off this end as well. No worries if you have a little extra. I don't know why my knife didn't want to cut through that well here. Let me just pull this piece off. I don't need this piece. Put my finger in here and hopefully it'll come off. If it's not going to, I will just simply use my scissors. The important part is this top piece. Just grab my scissors here. Now when you're working with your Cricut, sometimes the knife won't go all the way through. You need a second pass. But that's okay. I think we're working out okay here. Now, one thing I didn't mention before is I need a little transfer tape to hold things down. Now, the big key here is what do you want to leave in place and what do you want to weed out? Now, if you want your whole beeping at me mug to be pink, that's great. If you just want the letters, that's great too. So we could do one way and one the other. So what I want to do is take those edges off like I mentioned before. Now I'm going to pull this off and it should leave my design in behind. Just takes a little bit to pull it off. Whoop. One of my hearts went flying, but I can put that back in place. Just grab it and put it where I want it, right there. I'm just going to cut this because I want to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to pull from this end. Okay, I think we grabbed most of it. Now I just got a little extra weeding to do here. I want the nose to come out. It's being stubborn today. There we go. Got that piece off. I've got another heart here I want to grab off. There we go. And I've got a little bit inside my E. There we go. And one more heart here. Get that off. And then I also have a nose here I'm going to take off. Wow, just doesn't want to lift. There we go. Got the nose. So now I have one of the parts for the mug. Now you'll notice that that is the larger one, so I have these two cups and I'm just going to take the little cloth that came with the transfer sheet and clean it off. Now this is the easy part because you want to have this lined up. You'll notice that it lines up really nicely right here, and I can make it perfectly straight because of the way this is lined up. So let's start right in the middle. Get this going from middle to middle. Is that going to be too far? It's not quite the middle. I'm really not, my strong point is not getting things into the middle. So I am going to take this and I am going to line it up on the edge. I find this sometimes is easier for me, just lining it up and then pulling it through. Now I wanted to use this extra transfer tape. You notice I'm a little bit crooked here. So I need to pull this down and pull it down a bit, so that I get exactly what I want. Just going to make sure everything's in there. Now I could use my transfer tape to transfer these two together, but I'm not going to bother with this. All I've now got this on, I'm going to put it into my mug press. You can see I've got it inside my mug press here. And all I have to do now is push down the lever and wait for it to heat up, and then this one will be ready. I'm just going to move that out to the side while we work on our next one. We have the little mug. And this time I'm going to leave the pink on the outside, and I'm going to take off these extra pieces. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to grab that heart, just put it off to the side. All I'm doing is bending this, and this time we want to have the beard come out and leave the nose and heart in place. Same with the hat, so I'm going absolutely opposite to what I did on the other one. I'm finding it bending it over sometimes makes the weeding a lot easier when it comes to the infusible ink transfers. I'm going to keep these hearts. I might be able to use them in another location. Iron-on hearts. I don't like to waste material. And is there another heart there? No. But now I can take out the letters. No. The E. There's the E. And once again, I'm going opposite to what I did before. Last one, I just left the design in place. And I'm going to leave that heart intact. So I'm just going to take the top part here out. And there we go. We have another item that we can work with here. Now this is pretty flat, so I'm going to place it right on the table. Let me just move this mat out of the way for a second. I'm going to place it right on the table, and this time I'm just going to bend it right down, and then I'm going to then just grab it so it sits evenly here, and just see where I want to go with this. Very even. This is the edge of the mug right here, so we've got the rounded parts going right here. Now, because I have it on the table, this wrap is going to be a little easier. Now, you'll see it's not quite equidistant there, but it's very, very close. So I think I'm good to go with this one. Now, I do have to wait for the mug press to finish off with this. And while we're waiting for it to come off, just put this back down here so you can see what we're doing. This one's ready to go into the press. And you'll notice that my press, even though it's very hot, it still is flashing. And I have to wait till it beeps at the very end before I can take it out. And we're ready with that. Now remember all of these extra little pieces that I had. Well, I can put that on another mug or something different if I so choose. Now, the biggest problem is, what are you going to put it on? Well, you're going to need a heat-resistant transfer, and this is where this tape will come in handy. Now, I happen to have a mug where the handle broke off, but what I want to do is just add some love to this one. So what I'm going to do is if I put L for love right here, I'm going to use the transfer tape to do that. And this is just a fun little extra thing. I just take a little edge off here. So I can just make my own design with my leftover pieces. Just grab a piece of the tape. And I can place it into position. I lost my O here somewhere. Did I leave my O on here? No, the gnome is the O. Oh, okay. So we want the one with the hat. So this is the O. So we'll put the hat on first. Looks like we're almost at 5 now. L, O. Another piece here. Remember, these are pieces we discarded, and we're just making use of those, so you're not wasting a lot of material. Okay, let me just grab a little bit from my V here. L, O, V, and something for the E. Maybe an E going in this direction. I'll put more tape on for that, so I got an L-O-V-E. Then I can do the same thing for each of these hearts. Let me just open this up a bit. Grab one of the hearts. Remember, I'm putting the tape on the back side. These big ones. This is going to be cute. Even though the handle is off, I will glue the handle back on. Or I could file these off. If you really want to get creative, you can actually iron these on. Oh, looks like our sideways heart. Not quite what I wanted. Okay, it looks like this is ready. So just lift it out of the way. Just move this out. Now remember, this is going to be extremely hot, and I have to just keep it out of the way. And we're ready to put our next mug in. And I'm going to press to go down on this one. So it's going to start working on that one. I am going to move this out of the way. It is very hot. And we can continue to work on this one. Now I got some hearts, a couple of hearts. I got 3 more hearts here that I can use. I could actually use this other guy here too. Just grab these. Just take it expansive. I'm just going to tape it on there for a second. A little heart here. Now we're really freelancing where our design is going to go. Let's see, I put one up here. Leave room for the big one, but that's okay. We'll just put this in here, and then I've got to add more tape here just to cover it up. A little bit showing there. Yeah, I could have made that longer just to get that piece. Looks like a lot of tape, but it's just protecting it on here. Looks like I need to add some on here. Just grab this. Let's see, let's get love going here. See if I can catch most of this way. Yes. Little piece right here. And we've got some of the V here, just a little piece for my bottom of my V. I don't think we have room for the gnome. I guess I could have put him somewhere on here, but I didn't. So we have an extra little gnome that I can use later. I'll just move those to the side. Now we're actually ready to go with this one as well. Now this is still pretty hot, and I don't want to take that off until it has cooled. Oh, very tempted to do that. Oh, look at this. Just take my little weeding tool here. This didn't pull off. I'll just take it right off. Pretty hot. There we go. So now we have our first mug, and this one has the gnome and the hearts. You can see that. That is really cool. Now that's the one that has the pieces that we took the major part out and we ended up with that. Now we have all these extra little pieces. Now believe it or not, these are cute little shapes. And I actually keep these shapes, and I'm going to be able to use them in another project because it's just pieces of paper. So what I want to do is take these all off of here. And I could actually use them, put them on a card or something else, but I'm just going to pull them from here. There's nothing like multi-purposing everything that you use. Just think of, you know, are there going to be scraps on it? Is there something else you can use with it? Okay, let's just get rid of these. And of course we don't need our transfer paper anymore. Let's get that off of me. Put those out of the way, get rid of it. Now I have a few extra pieces here that I can use for another project. Perhaps I'm going to do a card or something else. I have all these wonderful little shapes that I can use later. And I don't have to toss it out. I will be able to repurpose everything that's in here. Now our second mug is almost ready. I'm just going to move that out of the way. And this looks great. We're going to have another mug go in. It looks like I've got a little bit exposed right here. Let me just take another piece of tape. I want to make sure everything is hidden. See, I got a few pieces like that. So let me just grab this. Like this. There's a bit exposed here. That one's okay. So a little tiny bit exposed here. I don't want to leave anything exposed, just in case it mars my mug press, and then the next time I go to put something in, I'm going to have an issue. So I'll just grab that. Now, last double check here, because our mug is almost ready to come out. And do I have anything exposed here? A little piece right here. All right, we got the beep. Let me just open it up. Let's pull our mug out. We're going to let it cool down for a little bit. Now this one doesn't have a handle, so this might be a bit of a challenge getting it out later. But it just fits right in, and I'll show you. I've just got it fit right in without the handle. I'll have to use some tweezers to get it out. I'm going to shut down my mug press, and we're going to wait for this one to cool. And in the meantime, it's just a waiting game for things to be cool. to glue my handle on later. I'm always anxious to take it off right away, but I know I have to let it cool for a little bit. Because if I don't be patient, sometimes it will not work out that well. Now I'm going to just pull this off. Look at this. It's very hot. I have to let it cool before I use it. Look at that. Isn't that absolutely amazing? And now I also have a design I can use for something else later as well. I'm just going to pull this right off. Oh, actually maybe I'll just leave it on for now. And then I can use that in another project later. But these are the two I wanted to show you. These are absolutely fabulous and amazing. I really hope you enjoyed this project.